What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Rise Podcast, episode 3. With me today, I've got Ed, who's a writer at Rise covering culture and entertainment. And then today on my left, we've got Saffron, who is a influencer. Today, we'll be talking about cancel culture in Singapore and the role of influencers. So the first thing that I want to ask you, Saffron, is do you think it's an influencer's responsibility to keep up with like the social issues that's like promulgating like conversations?
Personally, I do, but I have like my own opinions about certain things, and I feel like most influencers do have their own opinions as well, but they also have a choice if they want to engage in like social issues. Because from my personal take, I think most girls who do like social media, they're more interested in like their own lives and what's going on from their day to day, and they may not be totally involved in like BLM or like something that is not entirely related to Singapore. So I think to force an opinion out of everything can be quite like constructed. Yeah.
Okay, but you could argue that you guys have a huge following, right?
That's
I mean,
true.
there's people who look up to you,
Yeah.
especially young girls. So does that warrant you guys a responsibility to
Yeah.
like have to speak up about certain things?
I personally think I have a responsibility to speak up about certain things, but things that I'm not aware of entirely, I try not to shed too much opinion on it unless I read up or like I have been digesting these political views for a long time. Because I feel even if you might have an opinion, it might not be 100% like concrete or substantial. It might just be something very emotionally driven. And I personally feel like when it comes to politics or social issues, it must have more like separate opinion, nothing that is too emotionally driven, that allows more like healthy discussion and dialogue. So I do read like essays for school. So I guess it also stimulates my own interest in like from reading habit standpoint. I do read up about politics a lot, and like I'm interested in these kind of things. So it does allow me to converse with these kind of things a lot easier compared to other people.
Right.
So do you actually feel pressured when, you know, like Black Lives Matter or the recent black and white photos of the whole Turkish feminist movement?
Actually, that one
Like-
I wasn't 100% aware of. That's why I didn't really
Right.
speak up about it. Yeah.
So-
Do you feel pressure? Do you feel like you need to do it? Like, has followers been like, oh, how come Saffron didn't say this? Or how come Saffron didn't say that?
They didn't say it for me because I posted about it quite early on. Because I do have like experiences with black communities in London because I stay in South London. So like my area is mostly immigrant black people. So I do see their struggle. So I understand why they're protesting and why they're talking about racial issues. But for me, I posted quite early on and I shared about it as when I heard the whole thing was brewing. But I did see on other people's profiles like, oh, you finally posted about it. Yeah. So I do see pressure coming from like followers to influencers in that sense. Yeah.
Can you talk about Xiaxue?
Yeah, sure.
So what's your reaction to Xiaxue?
I personally thought like the whole thing was really like blown out of proportion, and I do think what she said was like really fucked up. Can I say that?
Go for it.
Okay, so but to basically shut her down for something she tweeted 5 years ago, that it might be out of spite. That's why I don't use Twitter, because I personally think Twitter is a very like antagonizing place, and most people tweet when they're pissed, and it's very like impulsive. So it might be taken out of context from time to time, and I think she did apologize for it. But Xiaxue overall has been like her persona is like a bully, right? But in that sense, she knows how to justify her bullying through like her argument, and she did that whole video on cancel culture,
Yeah.
which like with the mob mentality and everything. I think she does have some fair points.
Did you read the discussion between Narelle and Xiaxue?
I thought it was so lame. Oh my god.
Okay, but
I
if
read
you
the
were
whole
Cancel,
thing and
I was like, this
didn't know I had so much
is ruining
time.
my brain.
okay, but if you were in that conversation,
I'll cancel both of them. like, okay, like.
okay, but what would you have said? What would you have said? Or
Okay.
like, who would you have directed your
I think
energy
like
to?
them texting online and then them posting it online was like incredibly petty. But with that aside, when I was reading the conversation, I felt like Xiaxue did try to explain herself quite well, and I think because Xiaxue is a quite eloquent person. But from Narelle's standpoint, I think everything was quite emotionally driven, and the way she phrased her points can be quite like crazy neoliberal, and like it comes off with good intentions, but to someone that doesn't really identify with these points, it may come off as very rude. And I think that's what Xiaxue was trying to drive at.
Before we go too deep into cancel culture, I did want to bring one thing up. So as an influencer, you are still a business, or you know, you're still marketing yourself. So do you think an influencer has the right to be like, no, I do not want to engage in any political discussion. My page is just for me to sell my clothes, my XYZ. And
Yeah,
that's
like a
it.
brand.
Like, just like a brand. Like, okay, do you think that is acceptable?
I think that used to work like 5 years ago, but with the current generation, I think they strive for more like social responsibility. But I feel like if you're about that whole thing, you should do it full-heartedly and actually impact the community with like physical effort, like donations or like volunteering.
Like walk the talk a bit.
But, yeah,
Does that have to be expected though? Like, why can't you just be like, look, I'm just doing this, like, this is my 9 to 5. Like, why do I have to?
In reference to influencers, is it?
Influencers specifically, because you're still a person, right? You're not a company.
Yeah, okay. I understand where you're coming from, but then I feel it will like isolate a lot of young people because a lot of young people now expect that from you. So I guess if you want your business to continue to flourish, you have to go about it in certain angles.
And also, like, I feel like there's no like right or wrong, right? Like you just do, like you still have the right to not want to engage in like these things.
Yeah.
But if your brand like takes a hit from that, then it is what it is, right? Like you still have the choice to pivot back, you know?
Yeah.
But then, because that's what I think what happened with Narelle, right? Is that maybe she wasn't used to having this discussion. So she was kind of like
thrown in hot water.
By everything she reads on Twitter, you know, all these words like intersectionality, which are very important words. But then all of a sudden she's finding herself in this hot pot throwing these lines that she's read online, maybe not even knowing the full extent of what she's talking about. Even
That's the danger of social media, though.
Her intention was very good though, but I guess it came off a bit like in the discussion, right? She wasn't reaching Xiaxue in the middle.
It's bite-sized politics, which I can't stand.
So that's what makes
that's a good term, bite-sized politics. I'm gonna use that.
Yeah.
But my point here is that like in that case, is it better that she just doesn't get in the discussion, or do we still reward the effort, you know?
I reward the intention, but my personal like ethics when it comes about doing anything is that I have to be 100% aware of what I'm doing and what I'm saying, because I want every angle to be justified.
Okay,
values.
but then how would you talk to someone whose opinions you really disagree with? So for example, you see Xiaxue saying things about minorities and you have, you know, an affinity with minority issues. How would you like approach it?
People that I don't agree with, like, I like to engage with like a healthy discussion, but if they're trying to shut me down, then it's quite hard to change their minds, right? You can't force them to change their minds. I think like posting all these things actually drives them to hate these things even more. Yeah.
Is there ever a point where you think someone doesn't even deserve a discussion anymore?
Okay, this will be damn controversial, but I think everybody deserves to speak their mind. But if you are speaking your mind in a way that it might outwardly like cause violence to a certain group, then I think that's when it should be stopped. Or like, you know, like things I don't entertain are like pedophiles or like sexual harassment, trying to justify these things. But on a topic like racism or class, I think it's a bit more complex because that's where a lot of other issues come together in one place.
First hand, have you seen anyone close to you get almost cancelled, try to be cancelled, or like?
Well, I almost got cancelled for like the fashion police video I did like ages ago.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that.
But actually, after a while, I was able to bounce back, so it was cool.
What did you learn from that?
I was very young when it happened, so like
4 years ago, right? 2016.
Yeah, very, very long time ago. Like when I was just starting out and like they paid me $500. And I was like a very I know, right? But okay, I was just more eager to like do my job and get paid. And the video that came out was different than the direction they told me. So when it came out, I understand why everybody was damn pissed. Like, who the F is this bloody bitch? Like telling people how to dress. So in that sense, I did learn from it. Like I have to be more sensitive to certain things and how like people might feel, because being a public figure, people have more reason to hate you. I think that's just a natural like narrative.
And if that whole situation happened today, do you think it would have played out differently? Because I feel like observing cancel culture now, I feel like it's changed a lot now. But before I go into that, like, do you think it would have been different if it was this year or last year?
I really thank God that it happened then too. Like, I think if it happened now, right, I probably would be like quite silent for a while.
Right.
Yeah. Even when that happened, it was about like 2 weeks, and after that it was okay. And I just went for holiday. Yeah. But I think if it happened now, people would take it a lot more personally. I think that's like where people are driving towards, like year after year.
If it happened now, because I think it would have been like more than just hating on you or whoever the person is. It would have been like, okay, let's target the brands that endorse her. Let's get petitions. Let's engage the police. Because I think now cancel culture has like a mechanism. Do you think that's fair? To like go to those extremes, to actually go for someone's money and business?
Yeah, I personally won't do it because like it's their rice bowl and they earn a living from doing these things. But I think people now really have a vengeance. Yeah, and plus I think COVID made everybody a bit crazy from staying at home. If you had more of a social life, will you really engage in this kind
Fair
of hate?
point. I just want to ask, like, since the fashion policing, right, do you fear being cancelled again? Like, is that a fear that you have?
I think now my points are a lot, like I can justify what I'm saying pretty well, so I'm not fearful of being cancelled. But because I stand by what I say, so I think as you get older, you become more concrete in your ideas. And I also try my best to always listen to other people and be empathetic. So I my it's not so lame, but like
Not at all, dude.
but I think I guess if you grow, it's always good to listen to opposing views, because you don't want to be in your own echo chamber.
Okay, but I'm gonna say something. I have been following you for a while, and I feel like you don't actually post that much that is socially or culturally charged. So do you think, I mean, like most of your posts are like your fashion endorsements, peace, sure. I think on stories you're a bit more vocal, right?
Yeah.
But do you think, is that just a business decision, or do you do that, or have you actually been like subconsciously like scared off from
okay lah. I mean, it sounds a bit superficial, but I don't post on my main because it affects my feed and clients.
Yeah, fair.
And clients, they don't. Okay, Singaporean clients especially, they don't like it when you are too politically involved. But I think on YouTube, there I have a more open platform there because not everything I do on YouTube is monetized. So I try my best to like speak about different issues. So I'm very open about like sex and like harassment and like female rights.
Should we take it macro a second here and call me out if we're too late into the discussion for this? But is cancel culture even in Singapore? I mean, compared to the US and UK, it's very different, right?
Yeah.
And then B, was Xiaxue even cancelled? I think this is
I don't think she was really cancelled. Like, besides the cop cases, I honestly think like after a few months she'll be back with a pink card.
So does that mean that she's not cancelled, or she was cancelled for like 5 months?
Yeah, cancelled for 5 months. I think in UK and US it's much harder to bounce back after being cancelled. But I'm not entirely sure because I don't really follow all the cancelled people.
So does that mean cancel culture has arrived in Singapore, or no?
Not entirely, but
I'm a yes for that, but
I don't think so.
I think that a form of it has entered because the intentions are the same. Like the people
But
who...
there's still POFMA. I can POFMA people. What?
I mean, the government can cancel people.
There are regulations in place.
That's literally getting cancelled. That is
Fair
real
enough.
cancelled.
Actually, that's
This post
really
is
true.
cancelled.
Yeah, you're cancelled. Bye, jail.
But I mean, like, there's like what I was saying before. There's like a system under cancel culture, right? Where it's like, targeting who you work with, the brands, getting the police involved, getting petitions involved. That has arrived.
Yeah.
That happened with Xiaxue. That happened even in politics with Ivan Lim and stuff. Okay, I mean that's another can of worms that maybe we won't go into. But I think the system is here. It's just that no one has successfully been cancelled yet.
Right. Interesting.
Unlike the US, here you can't really think of anyone who like literally doesn't have a career anymore because
okay, I think you should get cancelled if you murder someone. Like
Jialat.
go to jail. But having an opinion that is different from other people doesn't account for totally cancelling them.
A personal definition I have is murdering someone is like the police and the legal system. Cancel culture is like the social police system.
So cancel culture is like
do you
when
really want the police social like
that's the thing
conversations?
That's the thing though. I don't know. Like,
I think
when does it affect freedom of speech, right?
Yeah, I don't want other people to not speak up because they are fearful of how other people might react.
Okay, I actually have a question then.
Yeah.
Did you because you said you are a PAP supporter. Did you not post about that because you were scared of what reaction?
Yeah, dude, I was actually quite scared. But then I posted.
Did you post it?
I posted a picture with like Lee Hsien Loong like at the end, like sarangi. Yeah, with a poster with my mom.
Okay.
Yeah.
But like you were scared of posting it before.
Yeah. But my friends were quite open about it and they got shut down by like people following them. But they were not. They weren't influencers. They were just like my friends. Yeah. But I think cancel culture can be productive in the sense where it actually targets people that need to be targeted. Like controversial, like if it's done productively, I think it can actually help like society to be more harmonious.
Interesting. We're kind of like entering the territory of like not whether cancel culture is good or bad, but cancel culture might almost be useful if it's used like correctly.
Yeah.
It kind of feels weird to actually say that out loud,
I guess it's more like
is there a correct way to cancel someone?
I think as long as you're open to opinions and discussions, I think that it's a productive way of like talking about issues. But if you're just going to cancel someone because you don't agree with like a few things they said, then it's not really like taking their opinions into account.
But see, that brought me to what we were saying before, how some people feel like even Xiaxue didn't deserve to be engaged with. Because to them, what she said
she's like
was just
Nigel
crossing
Farage
the
lah.
line. Yeah. So, I mean,
But everybody's criteria is so different, right? So like, maybe if there was a fixed criteria, that would be more helpful.
I mean, I think
In
cancel...
school, they take,
Should we
like,
brainstorm and do like a fixed criteria right now?
fixed criteria.
Yeah.
But I just want to say
I'm
one
just
thing.
kidding.
I think cancel culture is a symptom of a really good thing, that people are finally becoming more vocal and discussing things openly, which is great. It's just that it's evolving fast into something that can be dangerous because it is silencing people. So I think it's just like, how do we redirect it to what you were saying before, to just productive canceling and not...
Instead of like
Silencing.
reading like one quote, like maybe read a book. I think that helps.
Yo, that's
Yeah,
School
right.
yourself.
Or like
Pearls
school
of wisdom
yourself
right
lah.
there.
Yeah. Because stuff you see on social media is really like one aesthetic instead of like just quoting like Martin Luther King, but you don't really know what he talks about like most of the time. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I think people should just be nicer.
Yeah.
Like just be a nice guy, you know? Just be a nice person.
And people should separate ideas from personalities.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because
Definitely.
you may have certain ideas, but it doesn't make you a bad person. You can still be a nice person, even though you have a bit like crazy ideas. It just doesn't agree with you lah.
Right.
If you don't act on these ideas, I don't think it's bad.
I think that it's not about whether we want cancel culture or not. I think it's here. People have like learned it and seen it, and it's very hard for people to just forget all about it. It's just about how do we make it, like conducive and like actually beneficial. Because I do, like I said before, I do think it comes from a good place of people just wanting to stand
good
up
intentions, right.
for, you know, certain issues. But yeah, we have to be careful it doesn't start overstepping and then just like, you know, creating like a police culture, you know?
Yeah, then it's kind of like Big Brother. So scary.
Yeah.
Because sometimes online it does feel like Big Brother. Like you're like, oh my god, like if I tweet
Ironic.
this, people will like attack me.
I've always felt that like the government had like a Big Brother vibe. But now it feels like there's two Big Brothers, like the whole community and the cops. I'm like, wow, like damn
Singapore's
scared.
Big Brother is like surveillance, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like POFMA.
But I feel like the left has just as big a presence as like POFMA. Like at this point,
But it's
I
a new
would
thing.
sometimes
It's a
rather
new
be
thing.
POFMA than be like called out by the left.
But it's a new thing.
Because you can justify it. in
No,
court.
it is a new
I think
thing
it's a
for
new
sure.
thing.
It's a new
I
thing
feel
for sure.
like
Okay, so if we were to wrap this up, we would say cancel culture could be useful, comes from a good place, but
Result of issues within society
and results of issues within society.
can be productive if
If
done
it's used the right
correctly.
way, right.
I think it's a sign of a good change. It's
But
just
I
about
think
where
don't
we go from here.
I think just don't shut down like everybody's voices if
absolutely.
they don't agree
Absolutely.
with you.
Right. Unless it's like crazy extreme lah.
Like I'm gonna bomb like 10
Yeah,
places.
yeah.
Like that Chinese guy who said that at
Yeah.
NUS, I
Yeah.
think that should be
Yeah.
called, like that guy should be cancelled.
Yeah.
I mean, we can talk about many
It's like-
people at
it's
like-
NUS who deserve to be cancelled.
Yeah, my god, yeah.
Anyways, I just want to thank Saffron for being here. Come
Thanks
back soon
for having me.
after you come back from London,
I don't know when that will be.
whenever that is.
COVID.
She's never coming back.
Maybe
And
I will.
We'll see you guys soon.
Bye. Like and subscribe. Yeah.
What she said.